utterly deceptive twaddle speak, says I.
We're talking about ghosts. We're gonna tell you the ghost stories that we got told to us by fucking historians in downtown Victoria. You know, it's fucking. Apparently, they were telling us it's one of the most haunted cities in Western Canada. So
apparently, it's the most haunted.
I think it is the most. Yeah, which really makes sense.
In like all of Canada, I think, isn't it? I don't know about North America.
I think it's in Western Canada.
Western Canada.
It makes sense, though, since considering, like, you know, Fort Victoria was the one of the major early developments on the West Coast.
Right.
Canada.
It went from how many people?
300.
It was 300 people in like 1840 or so.
Yeah.
And then the gold rush and in like the 1860s or 70s, I think, and it goes from 300 to like 30,000 kind of thing in a few years, or within, you know, that one period. It's just all these people show up in boats, and then obviously you've got the First Nations people that you're killing and whatnot in the process, which obviously just adds to it. Even though a weird thing in Victoria, a lot of the ghost stories don't involve First Nations people, which is kind of interesting.
Which is odd considering that they've been here for over maybe up to 10,000 years or something like that,
or
more,
probably longer.
Yeah,
the site in Haida Gwaii was like extremely old.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. This very spot where we're sitting right now, if you consider the statistics of, you know, how long the indigenous people lived here and how many there were, there's a pretty good chance that more than one person got murdered in the very space that my living room is right now.
Right. Definitely, yeah.
Right? Over 8 or 9 or 10,000 years. Yeah, there's probably a couple people that got murdered here, or ate by bears
died,
or whatever. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
I mean,
you think there'd be First Nation ghosts just walking all over the place?
You think so?
But then a lot of them have probably been buried in. You know, a lot of them don't just die; they'll probably bury them in a certain area, and that's when, you know, the burial grounds is such a big thing, because if you disturb that, but.
Yeah,
you know, maybe they're all resting.
Maybe if they're all properly laid to rest.
Exactly.
You know, they don't come back and
they don't give a fuck.
No.
But all the ones that died,
yeah.
You know, the ridiculous, probably millions that died from disease and fucking
Tens
basically
of millions.
Conquest. It's ridiculous numbers.
Yeah. So you're talking about like being properly laid to rest. Well, one of the burial grounds locally is up by Patricia Bay, over on West Annis Road there. They're starting to, apparently the bones are starting to be coming out of the cliff face there, because it's eroding.
Yeah,
it's not a big cliff or anything, but it's a little small cliff.
Yeah.
So it's up on a cliff,
but it's not that. It's maybe
like
10 feet high.
Yeah, it's a few meters. That's about it.
That's pretty
but
cool.
you can still call it a cliff.
Yeah.
Well,
that's I'd be fucking stoked if I was up on a cliff. It's kind of a cool spot.
Well, I mean, I bet that when they were buried, it wasn't a cliff.
Right.
Yeah.
The bay still probably went a fair ways out.
Yeah.
Or the land, rather, went a fair ways out into the bay. But now it's eroding, and the bones are starting to show. So,
do they know how old that is?
I have no clue.
They probably do. Well, they could probably find out. That'd be interesting. Like,
carbon dating.
What if they've been there for 5,000 years? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like dating that, or even if it's not that long, it's just interesting.
Yeah, I mean, shit sakes, you know, that's something you kind of have to respect. You know, you think about it. I think about what my ancestry is. It just so happens that I don't know, fortunate, if that's the right word, where I can trace it back with a certain degree of uncertainty, 2,000 years. But that's
crazy.
Well, it took me a while to do that, and there's a fair bit that, you know, anywhere past about the 1100s. It's kind of just getting into, you know,
I still think that's
single sword.
Pretty sweet though.
Yeah,
that you've been able to do that though. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mine. It's like, I don't know. I got a grandma.
Well, and that's only on the one side of the family too, right?
Yeah.
It's on my dad's side of the family, which also just happened to be one of the major clans in Scotland. It's the Stuarts, right? And so if you trace back, you can trace it all the way back to the founder of the Stuart clan, which is well, it depends. Who, it could be Walter FitzAlan or Alan Fitzgerald, like one of those guys. They were the stewards of Scotland, and they got the name, etc., etc. But if you keep going past that, then anyways, it doesn't matter. But hey, that's a good sound.
I love that shit.
Yeah. So the idea is that you can trace it back through Normandy and other parts of France toward back to Wales and whatever, right? But these historical records are kind of iffy. But now to get back to having respect for the indigenous cultures, they can trace. Like, there's not necessarily documents to say it, but the archaeological evidence is pretty, it's pretty supportive of the idea that they've been here for 10,000 years or longer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of heritage is like, holy shit, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about that.
Yeah,
It's how long that is.
It's older than the Roman Empire. It's older than the classical Greek.
It goes
city-states.
to prehistory.
It's older
before,
than
like, the
ancient
Neolithic
Egypt.
era.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is older than the old kingdom of ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
Which is about
almost
6,000
twice
years ago
as
at
old,
least.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like fucking A. That's a long time ago.
It's before we figured how to farm. Pretty much,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think that was about that long ago.
Well,
give or
actually,
take, right?
The agricultural revolution could have been as long ago as 100,000 years,
Right.
but only in certain parts of the world.
And in certain limited ways, obviously. Yeah. You're like using plants and shit. Yeah, it's pretty fascinating though, like knowing where your fucking culture's been, like where because they've pretty much like, yeah, we've fucking been here the whole time. We've fucking found this place out. Fucking been chilling here. We've fucking had it figured out for a long ass time.
Yeah,
It's pretty crazy.
yeah, it's amazing.
But when you dig their bones up and they start coming around, that's how you get some pissed off ghosts.
Mm-hmm. So
we fucking told you about Robert Service. Is it
Yeah.
Robert Service?
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's two more stories from that first ghost tour that we went on. The first of those two.
I can't even remember.
The
Kid on the street. The kid up where Miniature World is. The violent ghost.
That
He'll-
guy.
Humboldt or something?
Yeah, Humboldt Street.
Yeah.
So that's actually
it's
before the
where-
Robert Service.
Yeah,
I
so
completely forgot.
Yeah, yeah.
Right
There's
after
three more.
Right after the Empress.
So he basically, the whole road used to just be these shitty little shacks.
That was the red light district of Victoria.
Right. And what happened? He was a shithead, came to live with his,
Yeah, he
and
murdered
uncle
a
who
couple
lived
of people
there, right?
on San Juan Island.
yeah, he shotgunned the fuck out of some people, right? And then he went back to live with his aunt and uncle, and they basically found out what he'd done. And
When
he
the
was
cops
executed.
came around. Yeah, when the cops came around, they pointed him out, and then he was taken away and executed.
yeah.
And horribly, like he didn't, when
It was
the
a
rope
botched
dropped.
execution, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the rope dropped, it didn't snap his neck. He strangled over
Which
like
is
half an hour
classic.
or something.
Yeah.
I think they said it
Horrible,
was
but
like
still.
2 hours.
Oh, even
But
well,
like, who knows? That's what I'm pretty sure that's what she said. Because she said
Long time.
they tried to break his neck and stuff, just not working. He's a hardy young guy. But apparently the whole story with that haunting is that he's come back to the place and there's police reports and there's reports of there are accidents that happen there on a larger rate than other parts in the city, and people will there's like police reports of people who get pushed out into traffic, and they ask like what happened, and they say they thought they were pushed into traffic or whatever.
Yeah, they felt somebody pushing them into traffic.
Yeah.
but then they look around and see there's nobody that pushed them.
So we have like the evidence of the accident, but and then the report of the person saying they were pushed, but it's pretty right outside where he used to, or was that where his
So
aunt
all the
lived?
buildings
Anyways.
that from the red light district, they've all been demolished, and it's a completely new neighborhood there. But
yeah,
still,
it's the area,
yeah.
which is allegedly haunted.
I guess where the miniature world is now in Victoria.
Yeah. So what was the other one? I thought
So
that one was
there's
pretty
the
cool.
prisoners walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that
the
one
little
was weird.
arch.
Oh, and there's something about some kid
well.
falling down a well or
Yeah,
something,
there's
but I
a well.
remember nothing about that.
It's basically like this well that was there like way back in the day, and the guy,
He dropped his tea kettle down there.
yeah, he dropped his kettle. He was trying to fill it with water, and he accidentally dropped it down the well. And this little native boy, being a total fucking nice
He was
bro,
a fucking he
he was a bro
badass.
and a half. Was like, yeah, I'll climb down there. I'm
He's like, give
small
me
enough."
$1 and I'll do it.
Pretty much. And then
Which back in the day was probably worth a fair bit.
yeah, for sure. That would be like a paycheck and a half. But he freaking lowered him down. He started getting scared, so he started bringing him up. And then some shit went down. The kid falls down the well.
Yeah, the rope snapped or something?
Something like that. Just weird. Like, I could see that happening.
Horrible shit.
And the kid drowns in the well. And apparently, it's like what's the Ring or whatever, the movie? It's like basically this kid comes crawling out of the well.
Yeah, so anybody who works in that hotel for a long time, like the hotel was built over the well.
Right.
And
it's still there, though,
And the
right?
well's still there, yeah.
Yeah.
pretty cool.
So for a long time, it was built over, and the foundations were built over the well, and nothing happened because it was sealed over, right? I mean, when somebody dies in a well, their body decomposes and it poisons the well. Nobody can drink it.
No.
So eventually, then there's renovations going on at this one place, and they uncovered the foundations of the well, and they completely uncovered it, and that's when this supposed haunting started to happen. People would see these hands, like these small child hands, gripping this edge of the well, and then they start to see the top of a hairy little head, and that's when people just freaked the fuck out and got the fuck out of there.
That is terrifying.
I just think of the Ring.
That's the Ring,
the thing
basically.
that gets me.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
It's super creepy.
Yeah.
Coming out of the well.
It's so
But apparently,
cool.
it wasn't necessarily an aggressive or vengeful ghost at all. It
Not
was
at
just
all.
this kid and somebody, one or two people, I don't know. They would say that they would just see this little kid wandering around,
Right.
dressed strangely, and then they'd see the kid walk through a wall, and they'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Right, and that's when they'd freak out and probably peace.
Dressed like he's from the 1800s, Victoria style.
Well,
Super ghetto.
well, probably not Victoria style. If it's from
No,
the
that's
1800s, he could have been dressed just like some indigenous kid.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure. What was the other one? So that's a fucking,
so the
that one's
Prisoner's
a
Isle.
classic. Yeah, that one.
That one was funny.
And there's bodies buried.
No,
it's
it's before that.
right? Yeah. Okay.
So, we were in this alleyway. I don't remember, Helmcken Alley. I'm not sure.
I think that was it.
right by
That's where the prisoners would be taken out of the jail yard to do their work. And apparently one day, all the prisoners they were like, we don't want to do this today. So they killed one of the inmates, one of their fellow inmates. And they all got sent back to the yard. Well, apparently, there's a haunting there. And it's just somebody running past. And you just hear the jangle of the chains. And apparently it's just like it's suggested that is the last moments of this person's life. Hold on a second there, Shay.
honestly, don't even know if I remember it, but that's another trippy one. Like, and people will hear someone walking or moving past them, kind of thing, in that alley. And it was weird. They said go on the right hand side.
Yeah, the right-hand side.
If you're into shit going down. I definitely went on the right hand side, all the way.
I did too.
Yeah, so
Didn't feel
it's
anything.
about like this person experiencing like reliving, re-dying. I don't know. They're
Another
in,
residual, right?
yeah. So over and over again, the last few moments of their life, just running past this person in chains, running past, and then they get murdered there. So the tour guide was like, "Do we have a volunteer? Who's gonna go first?" And nobody said anything. So I was thinking about you guys, the listeners, like the podcast here. So I volunteered, and I walked first through there, and nothing was really happening. But then I started to hear this clink, this tink, 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 and I'm just thinking like, what the fuck? I keep walking, and then I look down at my jacket, and I realized there's a zipper on my jacket. It's going tink, tink with my
shit.
step, and I was like, oh god.
That's hilarious.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So
damn.
that was interesting. Got to the other end of the alley, and I was walking exactly where it was supposed to be the most haunted. On the right hand side, middle of the night. Where people had apparently had lots of experiences. I got nothing.
Yeah,
but
that's
other
the thing.
than the tink of my zipper on my jacket,
you almost have to be
like
not expecting it, right? You have to be walking through this alley like thinking nothing of it, and then you hear some shit like, Yeah, but
maybe.
it's interesting. The first night that we went, the lady said that she said about 1 in 5 ghost walks they do, they'll have something kind of weird happen. They're not seeing like a full body apparition, but they're like some weird experience. Like one of them apparently they got a picture of like little in the one house little fucking kids poking their
at the
heads out.
Helmkin house.
Yeah. Super trippy.
Oh yeah, that's the second walk.
Yeah.
So we've got one more story from the first walk then. Where we ended up at the end. Oh shit, yeah, some really weird shit. So we ended up at the old courthouse / jailhouse. It had been renovated. I don't remember the exact history. But Lily had some story there.
Yeah, she fucking.
Lily is Justin's girlfriend.
They went on it was like a field trip way back in the day, and they did like a sleepover. What is that place called? The museum there?
Yeah, the Maritime Museum.
The Maritime Museum, yeah. And they got the courthouse. But
it used to be a courthouse.
They slept in some room, and she just like refused to fall asleep. She just said it was super creepy. Like she didn't know that it was haunted or anything. She just like, weird vibes there, and she just couldn't fall asleep. Just refused to go to sleep. And then later on, she looked it up, and like sure enough, this place is apparently extremely haunted. The story she told us is pretty fucking badass. It was Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. It was Girl Scouts, and they said like they had a sleepover there, and they woke up to they slept in the courthouse, and the knocking from whatever the little anvil thing they fucking use, the mallet, and
the gavel,
the super long. Like the super loud knocking, and they turn the lights on to see like what kid is fucking around, and it turns out is like there's nobody there. All the kids are just laying there all freaked out. And then they woke up to the person screaming, and they said they were getting pulled out of their sleeping bag.
Somebody ran into the room. He wasn't even in the room at all. Nothing to do with the scouts, Boy Scouts. And yeah, there was just some kid being carried across the room by nothing.
Yeah, they said it was like they're grabbed under the armpits. Like you're laying there on your back and you're grabbed under the armpits and pulled out of your sleeping bag, that's like some next level haunting shit.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
That's some pretty malicious shit.
Yeah, that kid must have been bad, and it was like the judge was like, it's time for you to go.
So the backstory with that is that a lot of people were hanged there, right? But it's since been from the historical record, it's been decided that a lot of those people were innocent,
right?
And so they were unjustly executed.
Yeah.
So that kid, was like
it could be, according to the story, just vengeful spirits,
right?
If you believe in that sort of thing.
And then another thing, that same building that people report seeing the executioner all done up, like standing there. That is pretty fucking intense. To see a executioner ghost, like that's is fucking terrifying. I love it though. That's like seeing like the Grim Reaper himself.
Yeah. That could be a really fucking awesome.
Yeah.
If somebody got a picture of that, it'd be a fucking fantastic metal album cover.
Totally.
And so in that, I don't know if it's the exact same building, but right around there's this mass grave of so back in the day, Victoria was this fucking crazy town. Like it was like a western town almost, in that it was a gold rush town. There was not a lot of authority there. A lot of prostitutes got murdered, and being in the late 1800s, there wasn't a whole lot of ways to investigate it. So a lot of these women, they were buried in a mass grave. It was behind this one building where the tour ended, and apparently it's just really fucked up stories going on there, like chairs being moved, vibrating, etc. And right after the story, the tour guide pointed out where it said it was behind underneath the back wall of the building there. So we ran around to the back of the building and we stood right on top of the mass grave.
Yeah.
I don't.
They found. Yeah, they said
I
they
can't say I
found it.
believed in any shit, but it felt weird to be standing on top of a mass grave.
Yeah, no,
because
totally.
they found the bones
In the 70s,
foundation.
right? They dug it up in the 70s, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know what to do with this."
Yeah,
So they just left it. They just put it.
They paved it back over, and
so
the bodies, the bones are still underneath. There's mass graves
It's
still
so
there
crazy.
Yeah.
in this alleyway.
Yeah.
And okay, so if you're in Victoria, you can go to the View Street Parkade, and you can go right behind it to Bastion Square. But instead of going into Bastion Square, take a right after you go through the stairs there towards the youth shelter. And if you are in that little alleyway there, you just kind of go a short flight of stairs down, and you'll see the youth shelter. There's graffiti that says it's there. You go across from that building, and there's the wall behind another building. There's this it's not quite an alcove, but it's this depression in the wall of the building, and it's just this flat space. That's where the mass grave is. It's just this completely unmarked, undescript space.
Yeah, you'd have no
in this
idea it's
dingy
there.
little alleyway.
Yeah.
And I would never have known. And honestly, I think it's a little bit disturbing that there's no plaque there or anything saying that, hey, there's a whole bunch of dead women here.
Well, the thing is, like, they said they don't even really know, right? Who it is, right?
Yeah.
It's just bodies. Like,
I think, honestly, I think they should have a plaque there that says there are a ton of
It's a
people.
mass grave.
Yeah.
Like,
that's pretty. Like
They
that's-
could put a
it's good
little
for
fence
tourism,
around
right?
it.
I think so. Yeah.
Fuck. Like,
Well, it doesn't even have to be for tourism, man. I
No,
think it's
no.
just a simple show of respect.
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, fuck.
Considering you're stepping all over them.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
standing on their graves.
Yeah, good
And
place
you
to
have-
smoke
and
cigarettes.
most people have no idea that they're there.
That's the thing. I've probably walked right by there before and never even.
Yeah.
You'd never know unless you're into this shit.
Yeah, or you went on that tour.
Yeah. So we went another night. And
Yeah,
that
we went
one's got
on
some.
last
we got
weekend.
some more fucking stories from that one. Some fucking ghosties.
Yeah. So we started at the Empress again, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we talked about the murder of the original architect, the architect of the Empress building, who also happened to be the architect of the legislature in BC,
Which is a hell
Francis
of a-
Rattenbury.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you remember the story, Shay?
It's long and intricate. I just remember
I do kind of remember
like
it.
the keynotes. I don't know.
Well, I definitely remember him getting hammered in the head.
Yeah.
But basically, he was like a young architect who hadn't proven anything yet, and he sent in his idea for the addition of the Empress. Was it the addition of the Empress?
No, I think
think
his
the whole-
idea.
Or was he the
it was-
original?
No, it was the idea for the legislature buildings.
Okay.
Right.
He sent in the.
And then
his
it was the
idea for
Empress he was already well
was
established and it was
after,
later on.
Oh, okay. So it was the
But-
legislature first, and then the
Right.
addition of the Empress.
Which is even crazier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
this guy
so,
built the legislature. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty goddamn beautiful.
It
building.
is.
It's impressive.
Gorgeous. But he was 25 though when he was basically selected to
Right.
design the Legislative Assembly building, and it's besides the Empress downtown, that's like the marquee attraction for like getting
For sure.
it pictured in the Inner Harbor. Like
For
that's
sure.
it's iconic.
It's iconic. Yeah, it's awesome. The Blue Bridge might be a little more iconic, but
the Blue Bridge is gone.
No, I was kidding. I know that shit. I feel like they should have just restored it, but that's another fucking topic.
Nah,
But
It
I
was a
hated
piece
that
of shit.
thing.
Yeah.
You know?
So
it just
gnarly.
I like the blue though.
Yeah, they could have painted the new one blue and just.
I
called it
know
Blue
they
Bridge
should
again.
have painted it blue. Because it's got the same color as the Parliament building, a little bit.
What?
That weird. That it's like that is.
Dude, no,
Was it, like,
no,
used
the
to be
legislature?
copper?
Yeah, it used to be just bright copper, but
Yeah.
it tarnished and now it's just green.
Which I
right?
like that. I actually like
It's green,
the
but the
fact-
Blue Bridge wasn't green, man.
No,
it was
it's
blue.
not.
It was blue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah. I always just associate them as like the same thing almost. It's like a weird fucking color thing.
Blue and green.
Maybe I'm tripping.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically fucking guy got his head smashed in with a hammer.
Oh,
Yeah.
so there's a lot more story.
Yeah,
to it.
so like he was like,
Whoops. Whoops.
Fuck.
I don't know if you heard that in the microphone.
but yeah, he basically like he did the Legislative Assembly, became famous for his work, and he was not well liked at all.
No, he was a complete ass bag.
Yeah. I guess he was brilliant at what he did, but nobody found him to be someone who'd want to hang out with at a party.
Just a total prick.
Yeah, pretty much.
The story goes that he had this wonderful wife, and they had 2 kids together. And they were at some party or other at the Empress when he decided, oh, there's a younger, more beautiful woman there. So he started hitting on her, and they hit it off, and they had this extravagant affair, which was very public, and everybody in Victoria knew about it.
Yeah.
And they just started to despise him because he
Even
was
more.
mistreating
Yeah.
his wife so badly. It got to the point where his mistress moved into the same house, and she would play loud music in the middle of the night, and he would turn the heating down and just basically starve his family out until finally, after years, his original wife gave him a divorce.
Yeah.
And his kids just...
He
they had a
basically wanted
horrible
them to
time.
move out.
Yeah. His kids just, had a horrible time.
Yeah.
And after that, the people of Victoria just hounded him out of town.
Yeah.
Like, he was so despised. He never got any sort of work again.
No.
So, Rattenbury and his new wife, I don't remember her name, they went back to England somewhere. I think Bournemouth.
Bournemouth, yeah.
And so that was where his retirement was, and eventually got to the point where his new wife, she was in her mid to late 20s or something.
Yeah, she was quite a bit younger than him.
And he was retired.
Yeah.
So she got bored of this old fogey bastard sitting in front of the fire all the time.
Yeah.
So she convinced Rattenbury to hire a quote-unquote chauffeur. And this guy was actually just, the lover of Rattenbury's wife.
He was slanging the dick.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And he got really upset. Just eventually just got fed up with being the what is the male term for mistress? I have no idea, honestly.
A hoe.
The lover boy
Yeah.
of the wife of Rattenbury. And eventually he just decided he went into the living room one day with a hammer and smashed Rattenbury's head in, spread his brains all over the place, and he died slowly.
And he was a young
Painful.
guy.
I think
That's the interesting thing, because he
was
went
retired, but
because he
wasn't that
died
old.
recently. Or no, I mean the guy that
The
killed
killer.
him. He was a really young guy.
Oh yeah,
he only
was-
died. He only
he
died
was
like 20 years
18.
ago.
Yeah.
So the
Oh,
story
yeah,
goes
yeah.
is that when like it was pretty quick because Rattenbury's wife walked downstairs, screamed, ran outside, and then all the locals came in and like saw what happened. The cops arrested him real quick, and he was thrown up for conviction. He was convicted of first-degree murder, but they commuted his sentence on condition. I mean, he served a few years, but they commuted his sentence on the condition that he go fight in the Second World War.
Yeah.
Well, he came back after fighting in North Africa with a chest full of medals.
Yeah.
So they didn't exonerate him, but they commuted his sentence.
Yeah, exactly.
And so he ended up living a full life. He had a wife
got
and a bunch of
married,
kids.
yeah.
And he died in the 1990s.
Late 1990s.
2000.
Oh,
I looked
early
it up.
2000.
He died
Yeah.
in 2000
Crazy.
in Bournemouth or somewhere in England, surrounded by his great-grandchildren.
So he went and lived this like incredible life
Yeah. He
after
had
smashing someone's head in.
he was like a reasonably successful businessman or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly.
It's crazy.
He's a war hero. Either
Yeah,
way.
exactly. But it's just crazy to think that we're talking about a character who was involved in this murder decades ago. Like we're talking
Yeah.
about something that involved
and
someone
apparently
who-
Rattenbury's ghost is still in the basement bathrooms, like,
looking for attention.
yeah, just begging for attention.
Yeah.
Because everybody hated him in Victoria.
Yeah, apparently he'll stand uncomfortably close to you and follow you up the stairs.
That's
Yeah.
terrifying, especially
Yeah.
women. It's like,
Yeah. And the
that's
guy who
fucking
killed
terrifying.
him, only died 18 years ago.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's been like
That's
haunting
just
that
a good
place.
story.
He's probably haunting that place before that guy was even dead. How fucked is that?
Yeah. I mean, whether or not you believe in ghosts, that is a good
It's
story.
a good story.
Yeah. Yeah. You've got like that's like a movie right there. Like you murder a guy and then you either go fight in the war or serve your whole life and you go fight in the war and end up fucking doing all this shit. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Go fight the Nazis. What was the next one on that one? The Empress. Well, that's fucking. There's
I
a
think
couple
that's
Empress
it.
stories.
Well,
This
that
is
was
the
the
second
beginning.
one.
That's the
one.
beginning, right?
But then, yeah. But then, what the hell was next?
I
Oh,
remember
then it
eventually
was
we got to St.
Douglas. Douglas, the house
yeah.
by the museum there.
Oh, yeah, his wife.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about
We talked about St. Anne's, but that was after.
yeah,
So,
but what about the maid from the Empress too?
Oh.
Remember when
Nope,
they
don't
were
remember.
this is when they were building the second edition to the Empress.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
She
and
was
it
a
was that
savage.
young Scottish woman who had moved here from
Yeah.
Scotland.
She used to always go out onto her fire escape and
Yeah.
pray until the one day when they were doing renovations and they took away her fire escape and she opened the door and
And
just
she
fell to
didn't
her
know.
death.
Yeah, fell down.
No, people
Yeah.
get married where she fell and died.
And apparently they just see like they just there's like the dark shape there. Somebody
Yeah.
walking around with rosary beads.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's trippy.
Yeah. So there's that one. I don't remember too much of the story.
That was,
Yeah, like
that was
they would-
honestly, that was pretty much it. It was basically just a sad story about
Right.
a woman who moved here
Right.
looking
she's
for
a
like
hard
a better
worker.
opportunity,
And then-
very hard worker, and just a freak accident that
But then part of the thing that substantiates it, right, is that people will come out in the hallway and they'll see the maid in the costume and they'll be like, "Hey, excuse me," and they'll just keep walking, right, and then they'll walk through the wall where the fire escape was, which is
Yeah.
fucking
but they'll also go
terrifying.
complain
right.
and say like
Oh, yeah.
someone
Yeah.
wouldn't like answer us, and they just kept walking and they
Right.
ignored us, and
Oh yeah, the
then they were
classic
like,
line is like, "It's great that you have people dressed up in period
Yeah.
costume, but what's the
Yeah.
point of having
Yeah.
them if they don't answer us?"
Yeah.
and
the
then
people
of
at
course they
reception
don't.
are like, "We don't have anybody yet."
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody dresses like that there.
I'd
And
be
like,
interested.
Did you happen to see this person on the 6th or 7th floor or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they've heard it before.
That's the thing. I'd be interested to talk to some of the people that work there and ask them, like, you had experiences, or do you have
Oh,
people
can you imagine like
complaining?
a cleaner or something like that?
Oh, I know, right?
Maybe we
There's,
should
like,
go
lots of-
interview some of these people.
I know. I'd
Lots
love
of-
to.
There's lots of times where like the cleaner is like just cleaning a room by themselves. Like
Yeah,
it's not a 2-person job.
and they go through almost every room. Right?
exactly.
Like, it's crazy, and like possibly at night. I don't know. That'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
I think it would like it obviously like because I do kind of believe in ghosts. It freaks me out, but like I think it would be awesome to like spend the night at like the BC Maritime Museum or something
Yeah.
like that,
Hey.
just to see what it's like.
For sure, I'd love to. Just
Hanging out with a bunch of angry ghosts. Oh yeah.
well, the thing is with that story we told about the Maritime Museum with the kids getting woken up and all
And
the
dragged
shenanigans.
across the floor.
Apparently, they don't do sleepovers anymore
No,
after that incident.
no, they stopped after that.
which is absolutely insane.
I had no idea that they even did sleepovers until
Yeah,
I heard about it on this tour. I'm like, what?
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And that must have been fairly recent because Lily has slept over there.
No, yeah, I think she said it was like 8 years ago or something
Right.
like that.
That's
7 years ago.
crazy. Honestly, another one where they got to have the cameras rolling.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
keep them going. Honestly, if I'd stay there, I'd love to have a camera and set it up all night and just fucking get some footage. Like if something happens,
Messed up.
I know, but like if something happens, if some weird shit goes down, it would be so nice to be like, it's fucking rolling. right? Like
Yeah.
we got that on camera.
Hashtag shiver me timbers.
And like whether or not people believe that you actually got that footage, knowing that you have it, and that's like proof enough for me, you know? God damn.
Totally. Okay, so then the one after that was at the Royal BC Museum. Amelia Douglas, I think.
Yeah.
So James Douglas was the first governor of BC. And his wife Amelia. They had a bunch of kids, but their youngest was one boy, and they sent him off to boarding school in England. But Amelia, she bought 2 pocket watches. They were pairs. Gave one to her son, kept one for herself. Well, as soon as her son got there, he gambled it away for some stupid reason, and she was really angry about it, so she'd fidget with her watch all the time. Now, she died a long while later, but they still have her watch in display in the museum. Now, apparently, this watch will move very slowly, but it will move of its own accord, just vibrating, and they've set up cameras to watch it, and it just slowly vibrates around the display case
very slowly.
And there's only 2
Yeah.
people that have the key to this display case.
Yeah.
They're both the curators.
Yeah.
And neither of them knew what was going on.
They thought
No.
they were fucking doing a prank on each other.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
It just turns out,
Yeah, they each thought it was the other one.
yeah. That's mind blowing. It just like, honestly, I'd love, like, if they have footage of that, it's interesting that it's not out there.
I know. I was just thinking that. It's like, why won't they like release it?
I know.
Like, I'd love to see that.
for sure.
And I'd love to see like the photo of like the girls in
Yeah.
the Helmkin house.
Yeah, totally. I know.
One of the girls that is that the school children, right?
I think so.
Or was that one of the Douglas girls?
I think it was the children of
the school children.
Yeah. Or no, I think it's in the house, right?
The
But
Helmkin house.
Yeah. I think
So
so.
it would have
It's
been
one of
the
their
Douglas
children.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because some of them are still around, right? Yeah, apparently the house there, apparently on the tours they were saying, right, that some people, they
Yeah.
didn't feel comfortable like going there because it just felt like it was someone's home, even though they've been dead forever.
Yeah. So what we're talking about is outside of the BC Museum, there's an old house and an old schoolhouse.
Yeah.
And you don't even need to like buy admission to the museum to get into these places. They're open like 12 to 4 Monday to Friday or something.
Yeah.
And it's like a carbon copy of like what a schoolhouse would be in like the mid 1800s and what a house might be in the mid to late 1800s.
Yeah.
And like
Super
everything's
cool.
'Cause
preserved.
that's when they were built, right?
And everything's preserved in the house too, like with
Yeah.
some of the original stuff,
It's super cool.
which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, they said they had a picture on one of the tours that they got a picture of the kids up on the top window, like looking out at
Yeah,
them,
ghost
apparently.
kids.
Which is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I really want to see the picture. But
I want to see it so badly.
yeah.
Oh, and then there's St.
Interesting.
Anne's Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we went down to fucking St. Anne's.
So just a backstory about St. Anne's. It was run by nuns, and my grandmother went there actually.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have very nice things to say about the place. Yeah, no, she was a lefty, and so she was went through strict physical discipline, aka beatings, because she wrote with her left hand, which is fucked. And there was a bunch
Is that
of
what
other
you call
things.
a euphemism? A strict physical.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, so I think there's a couple other stories, but I don't remember them. But yeah, our tour guide, when I mentioned that to our tour guide, she said either people have great stories about St. Anne's Academy or they have horrible stories about St. Anne's Academy.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Like the nuns were just doing horrible, horrible things to people.
Bunch of old crusty nuns. Honestly, though, nuns, honestly, saying bad things about nuns is neither funny nor appropriate. But nun ghosts are fucking terrifying.
Creepy.
The idea, like, there was a picture in the
Wait, did you say that something is not funny?
Yeah, No, you can't cross the line with those nuns.
Wait, you have a line?
They are respectable people.
and it comes.
Some are.
Your line is nuns?
No, I'm kidding. Honestly, I think
the fuck?
a good nun is a respectable person, but I don't agree with their life choices. But because it's like,
Yeah,
no,
their
go
celibacy.
ahead and have
Fuck
sex.
that.
Go ahead and have sex.
I
But
think that's crazy.
I think they're very committed. I think that's like an honorable thing in a way. To be
I like
super
the idea of
committed to-
high priestesses and priest
Yeah.
case, which, you know, that is like ancient Egypt or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about this. I could be totally fucking around. But promiscuity was part of the job.
Right.
That sounds
Right.
great.
The oldest profession in the world, right?
Yeah, prostitution.
Yeah.
And also the thing with the monkeys where they gave them
Wait, what?
food for they give them like a currency, like basically we'll give you this
Where'd this
nut,
come from?
we'll give the
The
monkeys
promiscuity
the nut,
to monkeys?
and then no, so they give
You
them-
don't know
they
what
give
went
them-
through my head there.
You know, you gotta listen. So they give like a currency, so they'll give like rocks, say, to the monkeys, and the monkeys know that the currency will get them food. So when they give you the thing, they'll get food. The first thing that the male monkeys did once they had the currency was they would trade the currency to the female monkeys for sex, and
Yep.
then it's like this whole thing. So basically, it's that's shit, primal shit.
Prostitution,
and
man.
just,
Yep.
you know. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Good
ghost
shit.
nuns, like we saw in the school, in the little schoolhouse. So there's some pictures of the nuns that ran the place, and they were like, it's just a picture of nuns, but they were terrifying. That's not even a ghost nun. Like,
Creepy.
imagine, because it's a black robed woman
Yeah.
that shows up. Like, that is terrifying. There's not much scarier than that. I'd rather have an old man ghost.
Think like, what is it, season 6 of Game of Thrones? When Cersei's being paraded through the street by the priestesses?
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
honestly,
I didn't reveal anything.
I don't even think I've seen
But
it, but
shame.
honestly, it's been out for long enough.
Shame.
That there's,
Yeah.
Shame.
I actually
Shame.
do that. I do that to people at work sometimes.
that's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Follow some of the girls around.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's not creepy at all.
It's like Monty Python with the monks that walk around like yeah, and then they just whack the book on their heads.
Domine.
Yeah, yeah.
Sona eis requiem.
It's so good. And then whoosh, they fucking
Smack
their
themselves
head
in
with
the head with the
fucking
board.
piece of wood. It's so funny.
All right,
Genius.
I gotta look that. We gotta listen to it right now.
Yeah, fucking right. I honestly love that movie. And it's like, bring out your dead. Fucking, oh man, I love that shit. But one of the stories from St. Anne's, classic, where they're apparently it had been abandoned, right?
Yeah.
And then so people were vandalizing it and graffiti and whatnot. So people in the community are basically like, hey, let's go
Restore
around
it.
and make sure that, you know, people aren't fucking doing this stuff. So
Yeah.
they go walk around. The guy said that he went and he saw 4 figures of
5
nuns, 4 or 5, like 5 nun figures standing there in the doorway at the entrance, which is fucking terrifying. And then the whole thing that makes me think it's a hoax is the taxi driver that was part of the community wanting to restore it, that said they saw the ghost of Emily Carr there to try to get funding for it, which is actually what happened.
Yeah,
But
he was
still-
trying to raise awareness
Right.
and thought that Emily Carr's name would be good. And
Right,
it was.
right,
It was a good
for sure.
publicity stunt.
And it is a super nice building. Like, I'm happy it's still in use.
It's crazy. It's a Ministry of Advanced Education who
Right.
uses the building.
Totally. It's so super cool.
And when you look at the building, you're like, that's like crazy to think that that's what's being like housed in that building now.
It's kind of ironic.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. Yeah.
It is a pretty nice. It's a nice grounds. That whole area actually is
Yeah.
pretty beautiful. Like
Yeah.
the Empress Legislative Assembly, the museum,
sure.
the grounds, St. Anne's,
that
Beacon Hill
whole
Park.
downtown area is just amazing. The fucking moon's coming up and it's thick.
Yeah.
The thing
Wait,
is
what?
fucking huge. Coming up over there. Yeah.
Oh damn, that looks like 100 moon.
I think it's actually a full moon.
Yes, it is a full moon
Didn't that
tonight.
eclipse just happened like today in Eastern Canada?
Yeah, apparently.
think so.
So my mom and Michael they're off in in Germany right now,
Oh shit!
and they were watching the eclipse too.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's just listen to the Holy Grail monks here.
Yeah, important. Do you want to put it on this mic? Because this one's picking shit up like a moth.
Oh, hold on there. Yeah, let's try that.
Be